Welcome back to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Week 11 in the books, on to week 12. Jay, tell them who we are brought to you by.
Yeah, this season we're thrilled to be partnered with BattleBets. And if you're wondering what BattleBets is, it is a fantasy gambling app specifically for fans of college football, only college football games. And with it being fantasy gambling, this is 100% free to sign up. Just let them know that we sent you by selecting the Get Back Coach as your referrer in the ambassador section. Again, 100% free. You can prove your knowledge, show that you know more ball than your friends. Battle Bets. It is. We'll have links in the socials after the show. But Jake, let's talk ball.
Let's talk some ball. And we're going to start, Jay, on Friday night. Big time American matchup. Tulane takes on Memphis. And Jay, Tulane starts this game on fire. Absolute fire. They go up, I believe 31-14, and Memphis claws their way back. They score 15 points in the fourth quarter, holds Tulane to only 3 points in the entire second half, but it was not enough. Tulane holds in Memphis.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time that Memphis has made a furious comeback in the second half. You'll remember it looked like USF was pulling away from that game earlier. So I think Memphis just has a tendency to start slow. It came back to bite them in this one. And I also think that Tulane probably internalized that game against UTSA.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really disappointing performance against that squad on the road in the Alamo Dome. I mean, look, we've been talking about it for a while. The top of the American right now is so fun. You have so many teams competing to go to that American championship game. Tulane and Memphis both in the mix. You also have South Florida, North Texas, Navy, all teams that have a shot to make it to that conference championship game. Definitely going to be one to watch as we close in, especially with the possibility of a playoff berth hanging in the balance. But this was a fun one. You worry about the quarterback situation with Brendan Lewis going down for Memphis and how that's going to shake out. Tulane, I think, again, we talked about it, needed a big bounce back. They got it against Memphis. And I can't wait to see how this whole conference championship race shakes out in this conference.
Yeah, exactly, because you still have North Texas kind of waiting in there as well, just waiting. And USF as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a fun way. It's a fun race.
It is going to be – it's going to come down to the wire. Some big games coming up. I think North Texas actually has the easiest path when you look at what's left on their schedule. But no telling. I think ECU is hanging around in there too.
ECU is hanging around.
Yeah, so definitely something to keep an eye on. But
really quick, you mentioned ECU. Blake Harrell, fantastic job with the Pirates. He was an interim guy. They took the interim tag off. Huge for them. They just got another win this weekend.
Yeah, and it's going to be, again, something to watch coming down the stretch because you never know how these games are going to shake out. It's a lot like the Big 12, a lot of parity. Yep. Feels like there's a lot of teams that compete. And unlike the Big 12 that has Texas Tech kind of clearly at the top, we don't know who's at the top in the American because they keep beating each other.
Yes. It's tremendously fun to take a look at here and follow. Moving on to Saturday, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off, Jay, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Penn State double-digit underdogs going into this first game at home for the first time in I can't remember when. And Indiana survives. This was a really good football game. I thought in the third quarter Indiana was going to take control of this one, but Penn State just keeps battling. They go up 24-20 with about 6 minutes to go. Get a stop. Get a first down. They just need one more first down, Jay. One more first down. That dreaded 2-minute warning absolutely killed them.
It's a 2-minute timeout, Jake.
2-minute timeout. Gave Indiana the ball, sack, and then Fernando Mendoza, folks. Just big throw after big throw. His receivers, Jay, Chris Becker comes down with, I still don't know how this one was a catch on the sideline. And then 2 plays later, Mendoza to Cooper in one of the best catches you will ever see. Jay, there were times in this football game Mendoza is getting hit in the back with with a safety or defensive lineman coming over to hit his throwing arm. And for some reason, I don't know what voodoo magic Mendoza has, but he is completing those passes. It was unbelievable to watch, of just like, how is he keep doing this? And it's not bad defense. You just got to tip your cap and say, hey, you beat us.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a reason that Fernando Mendoza is the Heisman favorite at the moment, just given what he's been able to do for the Hoosiers. That last catch there to win the game for Indiana was an incredible play. I was watching this on my phone from a wedding, so I didn't get the best view of it, but I did get to kind of get that close up of the foot just barely dragging the ground. Body control is so important for receivers. I don't know that we talk about it enough, but just an incredible play. I was gutted for you, bud. I really thought that y'all were going to pull it off.
Yeah, we were there, and I'll say this: there was probably there was a couple pockets in the stadium that were a little empty, probably like 97,000, 98,000. That stadium started to come alive again in the second half, especially they're getting some stops. Everyone's kind of getting into it. Here's another thing that I think only Penn State people have seen. The play before the touchdown, Jay, they did get to Mendoza, and it fluttered in the air. Penn State's Amari Campbell, he slipped. If he does not fall, it just falls into his lap. Game over. And Jay, that's the frustrating part. Penn State falls to 3-6. We're talking about blades of grass taking away fumbles. We are talking about quarterbacks fumbling in overtime and it bouncing straight back to them. Beating a Northwestern team and then falling short right at the end, not being able to figure out UCLA's new and improved offense with Nico. And we have missing tackles to lead to 70 yards, touchdowns. And now we have these generational catches. Whatever has gone wrong for Penn State has gone wrong. And this is an absolute nightmare. It's frustrating. I love this sport, but I hate what it does to me. I don't know what is going. I don't know what to expect the rest of the way out.
Jake, it's the old saying: college football is fun until it happens to you. And I mean, that's just the way it goes. It's a game of inches. Sometimes things go your way, sometimes they don't. And unfortunately for Penn State this season, it seems like they haven't gotten a break once.
No, it has not gone our way at all. And the coaching search continues. We don't know yet. But Jay, you are taking advantage of the fruits of labor of college football. Texas A&M wins another to stay undefeated, 38-17 over a kind of banged up Mizzou team, but taking care of business.
Yeah, 3-0 in their last road games. Obviously 9-0 on the season, but winning 3 road games at a power conference, as you know, Jake, is a tough accomplishment.
Not easy.
I think if you had told me that A&M would win all 3 in this stretch of games to start the season, I would have told you you're crazy. But that's just the way this team has performed. The first half, a little bit dull. A&M eventually breaks the ice, scores, makes things happen. And it's a Casey Concepcion screen that is housed. Just a really, really, kind of moment there. You looked at what was going on. Missouri does have a good defense. And I think Mike Elko talked about this in his presser, that dealing with some edge rushers that are really good for Missouri. They had a game plan in place to kind of get the ball going quickly, try to run the ball a little bit. The running game wasn't great in the first half, but then it kind of takes over in the second half. Ruben Owens has one of his best games. And I'd be remiss not to talk about Dalton Brooks, who had a big game of his own. First, you had in closing the first half, Damian Sanford comes on a blitz. It's a fumble recovery that bounces right into Dalton Brooks's arms, and he takes it down. Eventually leads to a score for A&M. And then in the second half, you had the fake punt, which was a 46-yard gain. A&M had a couple of punts blocked this year, and I think it was a symptom of teams overloading to one side. And I think Missouri saw that on tape and said, we're going to take advantage of that too. Instead, A&M gets that fake punt, and it was on from there. Just a really great performance. Still some concerns for me about the rushing defense, especially against teams that excel in the zone. I think it was something that I highlighted as something I was worried about going into this game. And Missouri did have over 200 yards rushing, but nothing happened in the passing game. I think you mentioned Prabula being banged up. Zoller's the freshman coming in relief. I think he was 7 for 22. And when you team that one-dimensional, good things happen. A&M, it was a controlled, strong win on the road against a ranked SEC team. And, now you're looking at South Carolina, who's kind of on the ropes, Samford, which if it's not a win, we have bigger problems, and Texas to close out the season. So, at a minimum, 10 wins. And really, you should take care of business against South Carolina. Texas will be tough. It's a rivalry game on the road. But, man, hard not to be excited as an A&M fan.
Have to be excited. Absolutely have to be excited. Heading to the Midwest, Oregon avoids disaster in Kinnick. The Kinnick voodoo magic almost comes back again, but Oregon prevails 18-16. Jay, I loved watching this football game. This was a fun one in the freezing rain, maybe a little bit of wintry mix involved in there. Iowa's defense is as stingy as ever. They made Dante Moore earn every single possession. And man, that last drive, I still don't know how Dante Moore got that ball in very tight coverage against Iowa's best corner into that very small window for Benson. And then to set up the field goal. It was a beautifully executed pass play, but man, I felt bad for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, this is the type of game that we expected with the weather that you mentioned in Kinnick. We know what Iowa's defenses are capable of. We didn't know if Oregon was going to be able to win this type of game. I think it says a lot for them that they were able to go to Kinnick and beat the Hawkeyes. Massive, massive win for that program. Like you said, it's heartbreaking for Iowa because I think if they beat Oregon, all of a sudden now you can talk about them as possibly sneaking into the playoff.
Right.
I think with this loss, that eliminates them. Dante Moore came up clutch when it mattered, right? He's not in the Heisman talks anymore with everything that's happened to the Ducks. But that was the way Fernando Mendoza went down and led that drive against Penn State. Same thing with Dante Moore, just able to make plays in the clutch when it mattered. And Oregon keeps their playoff hopes alive in the process.
Yeah. And you talk about, what's happened to Dante Moore, they're having still a very good year. I think people are forgetting that Oregon is good because they lost to Indiana at home. But I think the other thing here is, and again, Jay, I feel like I'm in more of the old Pac-12 circles, probably more so than you. And I feel like there's a stigma around Iowa where people kind of dismiss them because they don't have a great offense and this and that. But man, it works.
Especially at home.
Especially at home. The defense, the special teams, Kirk Ferentz, who has been a staple, that this Iowa football team, you have to bring your lunch pail every time you play them. You cannot take them lightly. You have to expect you're going to go to war because they are going to make you earn everything. Yes, they might not have the athletes but they're going to make you earn it. And you better be prepared because Iowa will get you. Kinnick and Iowa have taken lots of souls. Like, I think they deserve a little bit more respect than I think some of these Pac-12 teams are dishing out.
Yeah, there's a guy in the UFC, and I'm going to draw this similar comparison here, who wasn't really a title guy, but he was just a nightmare anytime that somebody had to fight him because you couldn't put him away, and inevitably teams would gas out, or guys would gas out trying to put him away. His name's Darren Elkins, and dude just took so much damage. And there were so many bright up and comers that were thinking they were going to get into the title mix with a win over him, and they would have him in trouble on the ropes in the first round and the second round, and then all of a sudden he comes back and wins because he just takes a punishment and keeps going forward, just plodding style. That's what Iowa is to me. They're able to just kind of ground and pound and beat you up, take whatever your best shot is, and keep coming forward. It's not everybody's favorite style. Personally, I love watching Iowa football. It's just old school football, the way the game was meant to be played.
Absolutely. And I know Kirk Ferentz has taken a little bit of heat. Hey, it's time to move on. I know a lot after that 51-yard field goal. Here's the thing, Jay. It almost worked. One more stop, and we're talking about what a genius.
If Dante Moore doesn't make that throw.
Exactly. You're talking about Iowa winning this football game and saying, oh, hey, Kirk was right. He should have kicked the 51-yarder. And I think that's the thing. I'm not saying that Iowa can't be better if they move on from Ferentz, but I'm saying is I don't know what those chances are. And until that risk of you can be better outweighs, or once it's justified, I don't see you making a change because Ferentz is going to put you in playoff consideration pretty much every year. Not saying they're going to get in there every year, or, they're not, but they're going to be talked about. They're going to be 6-3, 6-2 year, or 7-2. And you're like, hey, here comes Iowa. So I don't know. I'm still on Kirk Ferentz and his just consistency that he has the Iowa team playing.
Yeah, 100%. And things can go south in a hurry when you try to change coaches and change the identity of a program. Just ask Wisconsin.
Yeah. Also, Iowa did not have a single sack.
Which
How
is
crazy.
Wild. I guess they're not really known for pass rushers. They're more of like a run stuffing team. Like they don't have those edge guys that really get after you, but still wild.
That's to keep Oregon the way that they did without a sack, I think is a stat that kind of jumped out at me. Jay, let's move down south.
Yeah.
Alabama beats LSU 20-9. 8 straight wins for the Tide. LSU drops to 5-4. What did you think of this one? Because I'm curious.
I think there was a little bit of motivation for LSU defensively, having moved on from their coach. I think it's still a little bit of a mess down there. Ultimately, though, it's just the tail of this game for me was how bad LSU's offensive line is.
Yeah.
I think that's why they struggle so much to score, especially when you get down to the maroon and red zone, is because they're just not able to keep the quarterback upright. I think at one point they get down there and they have 2 delay of games. That's just a sign of an undisciplined team. I think Alabama should have had a better performance.
Mm-hmm. They didn't look great.
Ultimately, like if you come out with a win, you come out with a win. It's hard to nitpick too much. Was interesting to see Van Buren get in there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's Nussmeier getting benched so much as just like, hey, you are beat to hell. The offensive line can't protect you. Maybe it's better if we get somebody there that's a little bit more mobile to try to deal with the pass rush. Because, I mean, Nussmeier, some of the sacks he took too were on him. There was another one down in the red zone where he tries to spin out and just gets dropped for, I think, 20 yards. Can't have that type of play in the red zone. It's not a super impressive win for Bama. but it is a win, and you move forward from there. I am still worried a little bit about Bama's inability to run the ball. I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But as long as they keep Ty Simpson upright, he's able to make good throws. Alabama's still a very dangerous team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alabama, since that Florida State loss, has looked totally different. But yeah, anytime you can beat LSU, it doesn't matter, home, away, you take the win. Alabama should improve. Yeah, I don't know with the benching of Nussmeier. I don't know what to make of it yet.
I think it's a little bit like Tulane benching Retzlaff at the end of the game against UTSA last week.
Okay.
I don't think it's something that they're going to do moving forward. I think they just need some kind of change in that game, and I wouldn't read too much into it.
Okay. Let's see. We got scores from other games. Tuesday night, Ohio wins the Battle of the Bricks. Jay, this was Daquan Finn versus Navarro Parker, two MAC legends going at it. 24-20 on a late touchdown. First big MACtion game of the week. Ohio takes Battle of the Bricks.
Yeah, this is always a massive one. I feel like these two teams have been going back and forth near the top of the MAC for a while. Parker Navarro is just a ton of fun to watch. Same with Daquan Finn. These two teams you knew it was going to be back and forth. The defenses were strong early on. They kind of start scoring there later. Just a massive win for Ohio. I think this puts them in the driver's seat for the MAC. I'd have to double check the standings there, but yeah, I mean, these are two teams that are just like, again, have constantly been near the top of the division, and now I guess near the top of the conference. No divisions there, but Ohio, Miami are both 4-1 in conference. Top two teams in the MAC. Would not be surprised to see them rematch, run this back later on for the MAC championship. Watch MACtion. It's a lot of fun. You're gonna be dying for these games later on. Just a really, really fun team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, South Florida absolutely boat races UTSA 55-23. I think we all saw this one coming. And all right, I went on a rant about Jeff Traylor last week, about his, how well he's been doing at UTSA, and I stand by that. However, he does not look like he's having a very good time. Like, there's trouble in paradise, Jay.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna jump at the next big coaching opportunity he has.
The way he's talking, I don't even know if it needs to be a big one, right?
No,
just it seems like he's just sick of San Antonio. He's obviously done a lot of good for that program, but just it's one of those relationships where it seems like it's really soured behind the scenes. It's not too dissimilar from like the way Jimbo Fisher was talking before he left Florida State, right? And obviously I have that connection there. So I'm, that's where I'm drawing the similarities. But yeah, it just feels like he's ready to get out of UTSA.
And I wonder why. I mean, again, he's coming off as very defensive because, again, he's done some great things at UTSA. He got them to a better conference, and now they're hitting some adversity. And I think he's saying, hey, like, things need to change behind the scenes because all these other teams are doing this, that, and the other, and we are not up to par with that. So I don't know, but yeah, it seems like this is going to be probably the last year of Jeff Traylor, if I were to guess.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like North Texas, who made the switch from Conference USA to American the same time that UTSA has, and it feels like North Texas has a lot more momentum at this stage, right? With Eric Morris, I think there's some unique things about UTSA. You have the problems with not having an on-campus stadium, right? There's some things to that. They do well at the Alamo Dome, but it's still, just a little bit harder logistically. I don't think they get necessarily the support that some other programs get. Texas State up the road is struggling, but it feels like even with those struggles,
Mhm.
there's still a little bit more momentum. We don't have to talk about that brawl that Texas State and Louisiana had.
Don't have to.
But it just feels like Coach Traylor is I guess fed up is the best word. And again, we don't have all the things going on behind the scenes, so we don't know exactly what the source of the frustration is. But I think it's pretty tangible in every press conference that he is dripping with frustration at what's going on with the program right now.
Mm-hmm. Next game, Vandy survives against Auburn 45-38.
I had the under in this one, so
you did. And
I look pretty
wasn't
dumb.
Gonna bring it. I wasn't going to bring
it.
Up.
No, I'm going to own that. I'm going to own that. Auburn's defense has just been so good this year. And I didn't see this one coming like this. I think obviously Auburn's another one of those where you get the coach out. I still think Hugh Freeze should have had to coach one more time against Diego Pavia. But if you're an Auburn fan, you have to be thrilled. This is the last time that you'll face Diego Pavia after the success he's had. Vandy's a fun team, man. They struggle, I think, with teams that are much better in the trenches. But if you get even to just a 10% advantage, Vandy's going to hang around. And this game, it looked like Auburn kind of had it. Cam Coleman, super fun player to watch at receiver for Auburn. But Vandy ultimately pulls it off. Stowers at tight end, makes some big plays. This is just a good Vanderbilt squad, better than they've had in a long time. And again, getting wins in the SEC, it's not easy. So have being able to pull it off in overtime, massive for this program. By the way, did you know that Vandy has a winning record against Auburn all time in football?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much. Because,
I think it's 23-22.
I mean, Vandy was really good back in the day, way back in the day, right?
Yeah, it's still wild though.
That's like bringing up Tulane has more SEC championships than South Carolina.
Fair.
But I'm a little surprised Auburn's off. I mean, no, I'm not surprised. Auburn's offense doing as well as they did after the firing of Hugh Freeze.
It's almost like the 3 quarterbacks, 3 offensive coordinators things wasn't a good idea, like everyone said it was to start the year.
They used to say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you have 3 quarterbacks and 3 coordinators, I don't know what the hell you have.
It was an approach.
It was. Hey, that could have been the future of offensive play calling. Unfortunately, it's not.
Can you imagine just trotting out 3 quarterbacks in a formation to do it?
It's like almost like rugby style where we're just gonna nothing but pitches and laterals. Yeah. Texas Tech cruises past BYU 29-7. Listen, Tech controlled this game. BYU, I don't know, just could not get anything going. And I think we were BYU, I think, was due for a down spot here. I mean, even if you looked at the line was 10.5. You're kind of like, ooh, okay, this does not look good even out of the gate for BYU.
Yeah, and again, the change that Texas Tech has made with their NIL to really try to address play in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball has paid off massively with David Bailey and what he's been able to do generating pass rush. Fantastic linebacker play from Dalton Rodriguez, who is just an electric human being out there. Jake, I don't know if you're familiar with the band Flatland Cavalry.
Oh, yes, I am.
So their lead singer, Cleto Cordero, is he has a strong mustache, and they posted that hype video for Dalton Rodriguez.
Okay.
And I couldn't help but notice the similarities between Dalton and Cleto. So I called him Cleto Cordero. Which with the mustache, I mean, it just made sense. But again, this is a really electric defense, which if you've ever watched college football with Texas Tech, that's not a phrase that you often hear. I think this was probably the best Texas Tech defense in the history of the program.
And
I don't say that lightly. you wonder if the offense is actually going to be what hampers this team moving forward, just because of how good the defense has been. Morton is good, not great. And I think it limits the ceiling of this program, but Texas Tech is good enough, in my opinion, to at least win one playoff game.
Oh, absolutely. I think they can win two.
Yeah.
I truly believe that they can. I think that in some areas, again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, that they might get outclassed. But no, this is the best Texas Tech team
since Crabtree, in my opinion, since like Crabtree and Graham Harrell.
Might be better.
I think it's definitely better defensively.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I know that's, people are like, oh, better than the Crabtree, Graham Harrell team. But yeah, because this team can play defense, and I think collectively they're better. Like, I don't know if
the sum of the parts is better.
Bingo. There we go. You said it more elegantly than I did.
How do words good?
Yeah. Flatland, and how about a Flatland Calvary reference? I like the love song they have. The one the one where we work out, or
A Life Where We Work Out.
Yeah. Yes, that's a very, very pretty song. All right, there's one for the country folk. Wake Forest beats Virginia 16-9. Is Wake Forest the best kept secret in the country right now? That Wake is 6-3. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I think it's right up there with New Mexico.
Yeah,
as far as just nobody saw this coming. Wake Forest, I was down in the dumps after the end of the claw fence, and I'm still again, I have a lot of respect for Dave Clawson, what he was able to do, but I am still so thrilled that the slow mesh is gone.
The slow mesh.
I despise that with every fiber of my being. Slow mesh is dumb. It's stupid. Just go send the defensive end flying up the field, see how long it lasts. But this is a massive win for Wake Forest to knock off Virginia. I mean, you have to be kind of worried if you're an ACC fan, just about what this may mean. I think this shakes up things in a massive way. If you have Duke, who still has a chance to win the ACC,
they have the best chance, Jay.
Which that frightens you if you're talking about the ACC making the playoff race. Obviously, Virginia, Pitt, Georgia Tech, all still in the mix there. Louisville, so it's not like it's set in stone that the ACC is going to get skipped over, but there is a scenario where the ACC champ is not one of the highest rated 5 champions, and they get left out. And Wake Forest has played a role in making that happen.
Wake Forest, the demon deacons, the demons of chaos that they are creating in the ACC. Speaking of chaos, Jay,
the Calgorhythm
strikes, beats Louisville at home, or sorry, at Louisville, overtime, 29-26. Okay. Jeff Brom is a fantastic football coach. Jeff Brom shows up and wins these top 10 matchups, these big games, but he constantly loses 2 games that he has no business losing, and this is one of them. I do not get it. I don't know what happens. I do not know how this man can beat teams that are better than his on paper and then turn around and lose games like this constantly. It would drive me insane. It's the opposite James Franklin.
Yeah, it's bizarro world James Franklin.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing performance. Cal is still a pretty dangerous team. Yeah. The quarterback play at its highs has been really good for Cal. Not going to attempt to pronounce the kid's name. But at times it's also been bad. You're just kind of guessing on what version of Cal you're going to get. Still a decent season for the Golden Bears, especially when you look at all the turnover they had with that team. Man, this is a heartbreaking one for Louisville, because it felt like you had all of it in front of you, real shot at the ACC title, and now you're just kind of back in the mix. You're not eliminated yet. You still have that chance, but really a disappointing way for the hot streak that they had going to end.
No, exactly. And Justin Wilcox keeps his job again, probably is taking the Golden Bears to a bowl game.
Somehow, some way.
He I do not know. But again, are Cal fans having like the best time ever? Like, is that the way college football is, like, where there are no expectations? You're going to be happy when they win, and you're probably going to go to a bowl game. Like, is this the happy medium of college football? Do Cal fans have it figured out?
With no expectations. You have a half decent football team that can win some big games, loses some others.
Yeah.
Just no real skin in the game. Maybe they do have it right,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
it's like I'm saying with A&M right now. Every game we win just leads to more stress.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh well, we got a lot to play for now.
Yeah. Jay, this is one I thought was going to be a little bit better. James Madison beats Marshall 35-23. Hey, listen, the Dukes. If you're an ACC fan, we talked about, hey, possibly missing out. The James Madison Dukes is a team I think to really look at of possibly crashing that playoff party.
Well, I have James Madison as my top group of 5 team right now,
Really?
even above the American teams.
Mhm.
Just they have the one loss. It was to Louisville. That game was 14-14 in the fourth quarter. This is a very, very good James Madison team. They have a chance to, with that one loss, if they win out, I think they're in. I genuinely think they're in. Again, this is a place that we've talked about, Jake. We both want to see a game there at some point just because it's a great environment. So big win for James Madison. I have that game with Coastal Carolina at the end of the season circled. That's going to be a massive one. Coastal has one conference loss as of this moment. James Madison obviously undefeated in conference. So that could determine who plays in the Sun Belt Championship game. If Coastal pulls off the upset in that one, James Madison doesn't have a chance to make the group of 5 be the group of 5 playoff team because of the loss. They wouldn't be a championship winner.
Exactly.
So definitely something to keep an eye on, especially if you're, like we mentioned, one of those ACC fans who are worried about your conference being in the playoffs, because the Dukes could play a role in there not being an ACC team in the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up on the agenda, UConn beats Duke 37-34. The Clemson hangover for Duke. And again, I'm disappointed in Duke's defense this year. But let's take our hat off to UConn for a second. 7-3. Granted, their schedule isn't great. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's not. But still, for UConn being, 7-3, 7-2,
7-3. Yeah,
7-3, huge for them.
Yeah, massive for that program. It was a good crowd there at the stadium.
Beautiful,
as well. Jim Mora has really injected life into this program. I think they do play a lot better football at home is part of that record too. Again, this is Fugnano, I think the quarterback's name for UConn.
Yeah, from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, right down the road.
There you go. That's
the millionaire.
That's the Little League World Series, right?
Yes.
Williamsport.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, just he continues to impress at the quarterback position. Really, really good player there. And it really feels like UConn at home is a very, very dangerous team. Less so on the road. They had the loss to Rice in double overtime, I think. Not great on the record, but you're going bowling. That's about all you can ask for from UConn. I would still like to see them in a conference. I just don't think it's going to happen. They love the Big East for basketball, and I just, it is what it is. Can't blame them given the success that they've had in that sport.
Yeah, you really can't blame them because they want to stay in the Big East for pretty much everything else, because they're not good enough. They're not good enough football-wise to be in the ACC, and they don't want to be in the ACC for basketball. I wish they could do something with the American where, how Notre Dame has the ACC thing?
Yeah.
I wish they would do something like that with the American, but again,
and I just don't think the conferences want to go for that. Like I think it's a conference problem because I do think it makes a lot of sense. We're just not going to see it in our lifetime.
No, we're not. They're going to be UConn's going to be like diet Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They're not going to play like the tougher games like Notre Dame's going to. They're going to play group of 5. They're going to be group of 5 Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to be. Wisconsin, Jay.
Jake.
They do it.
Jake, do you know who the leading passer was for Wisconsin?
Oh, yes. I know this. Was it the punter?
It was the punter. Wisconsin's leading passer is the punter in an upset win over ranked Washington, 13-10. They stormed the field. Can't really blame them for that, just given how much hell this program has been through. And this is like the opposite of the interim coach effect. This was the week after they said, you know what, we're going to stick with Luke Fickell for another year. We'll see what happens. And so, somehow, some way, Wisconsin wins this game. Might I add, this is a very old Wisconsin way to win a football game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is the way the Badgers got it done. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on them. It'll be interesting to see if they can build off of it.
Yeah, here's the thing. Washington had a really bad turnover. Damon Williams fumbles the ball, I think, inside his own 10. Here's the thing with Damon Williams. If he is in space, he looks like the most electric football player in the country. I think in moments in that game, especially with the rain, maybe trying to do a little bit too much. But Wisconsin holds, and Wisconsin kicks that field goal to go up. And then I feel like ever since then, like in the fourth quarter, it just torrential downpour, very, very difficult for Washington. And credit to Wisconsin for suppressing Damon Williams' legs in that game. Big win for Wisconsin and Luke Fickell, and Wisconsin has a Big Ten win.
They got it.
They did. They did. They have more than Penn State right now.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I will.
Moving on. Jake, I don't know if you were awake for this game.
I was not.
It was, I think I texted you. And
you did. Like, I was dead. I was sleeping.
It was like 12:30 at night, just kind of a revival of the Pac-12 after dark. Sam Houston State finally gets their first win of 2025 over Oregon State. At Oregon State, Oregon State outgained them by, I don't have the yardage in front of me.
So, Jay, I did. I brought the stat sheet. Here we go. This is Mr. Pate does the Sarah McLachlan special. This is our version of it. Oregon State loses to Sam Houston State 21-17. Oregon State had 474 total yards to Sam Houston's 157. 286 passing yards to Sam Houston's 85. 188 rushing yards to Sam Houston's 72. 5.8 yards per play to Sam Houston's 3.3 yards per play. But wait, there's more. 28 first downs to Sam Houston's 8. Okay, 82 total plays to Sam Houston's 58th. By the way, Sam Houston punted 6 times to Oregon's 30. How, Jay? Please explain how this happened.
Turnovers, a big part of this. Sam Houston State gets some defensive scores that obviously kept them in this game. Oregon State has fired their coach, so it's a little bit of a upheaval there in Corvallis. Sam Houston State has just not been a good team this year. You look at, so I don't know if you follow Stats of War on Twitter, but he posts this graph each week that is basically a success rate graph and what team should win based off that.
Oh, yes. I've seen this before.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Anytime a team is on the far left of the graph, it basically indicates that based on success rates, that team should have won the game but didn't. Oregon State had such a higher success rate than Sam Houston State. I think it's the biggest difference I've ever seen on that graph. You know what the craziest part about this game, though, was, Jake? Sam Houston State tried to give it away at the very end.
Oh, of course they did. It's Sam Houston.
It's Phil Longo, and I think there was about a minute and 20 seconds left. Oregon State had burned a timeout. I think it was second down. Sam Houston State, for whatever reason, elects to throw the ball. And they throw an interception that allows Oregon State to get one last chance. And just with everything that Oregon State has done this year, they weren't able to capitalize. But Sam Houston State, why are you throwing the ball in that situation to even give Oregon State a chance? Just a ridiculous sicko game to close out the night. Sam Houston, congrats to you on your first win.
Yeah.
Oregon State, my condolences, because
that was rough.
You outgain a team by 320 yards and lose. That's tough.
That is. Jay, FCS Minute.
Let's dive into it. South Dakota beats South Dakota State 24-17. Jake, this is the third loss in a row for South Dakota State, which, given how good this program has been the past decade or so, is really surprising to say. The North Dakota State loss, I get it. Indiana State, not a good loss. And losing to South Dakota is still a decent team, but still you expect South Dakota State to pull that off. Will be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. We got some big games, though, in the ranks. First, the Southland Conference, number 19 Lamar at number 15 Stephen F. Austin. This is the de facto Southland championship game. That's going to be 4 p.m. Central Time on ESPN Plus. Should be a massive one in Nacogdoches. Then you have number 9 UC Davis at number 3 Montana State in the Big Sky. That's going to be your nightcap, 9:30 p.m. Central Time on ESPN2. If you're up late, tune into that one. Should be an absolute banger in the Big Sky. You know we love Big Sky bangers, Jake.
Oh yeah, Big Sky all the time. And also they could take the place of our Pac-12 After Dark as well.
Yeah. Big Sky After Dark. I'm with it. I like it.
Let's trademark that. Big Sky After Dark. All right, let's get into some picks here. Let's go Friday night. Clemson at Louisville. Louisville 3.5 point favorites at home. Over under set at 51.5. Give me Louisville minus 3.5.
Yeah, Clemson gets the win over Florida State, but I'm taking Louisville here. I just think that, we talk about Jeff Brom and his ability to get this team up for big games. Yes, Clemson is not the team that we expected this year, but there's still a big game feel about playing this team. And any chance you get to hit a team that's been on top while they're down, you want to take it. I have a feeling Jeff Brom's going to have this team fired up for this one. I like Louisville minus 3.5 as well.
Yep. Saturday, Notre Dame at Pitt. Pitt, College Game Day will be there. Pitt which they should be at the Ravine, but that's a whole other story. Missed opportunity. Notre Dame at Pitt. Pitt is a 10.5 point dog at home. Over under set at 57.5. Before we talk about this, I need to talk about Pat Narduzzi for a second.
Jake, how do you feel about Pat Narduzzi?
Listen, I'm going to keep my bias out of this, but Pitt is 7-2 right now. They are a playoff contender right now. They are. And they asked Pat Narduzzi, is this a must-win game? And to his credit, he was honest. And he said that, no. He said the next 2 games are important because of ACC. He said, this is not an ACC game. I'd love to beat them by 100, but if they put up 100 on us, it doesn't really affect us. Here's the thing. I appreciate the honesty. You just don't say that.
Yeah.
You don't say it. Hey, listen, he could have very easily said that, listen, our focus is on Notre Dame. That's our only focus. But even in a loss, our season is not over, but we're taking it one game at a time. It very easily could have avoided that.
Jake, I've thought about this. I'm going to be Pat Narduzzi. You asked me the question.
Okay. Pat, do you think this is a must-win game?
Our job as a football team is to go out and compete every game. We want to win every game that we can. we're not concerned with the outside noise. We're not concerned with what this means for the playoff hopes. We want to go out there and win every game we can. We're just focused on Notre Dame, putting out our best performance that we can in this moment, and making sure that we have our players prepared for the game on Saturday, not looking ahead to anything.
Very well. Thank you, Pat. You're an asshole. Sorry. I'm not being biased today.
Yeah. We sometimes you just got to get it out of your system.
Sorry. I thought I really had an opportunity to talk to Pat Narduzzi there. Okay. Anyway, no, Jay, you're 100% right. That's could have very easily have just done something like that. Give me Notre Dame 10.5.
Hey, can I say something though?
Yeah.
We talk so much about how we enjoy characters in college football. We enjoy the honesty.
Yeah.
So it does feel like a little wrong on our part to criticize him for this. When he was 100% honest. But he still, like, I would not want my coach going up there and saying, it doesn't matter if we lose by 100.
Yeah.
Anyways, with that in mind, I am also taking Notre Dame in this one.
Yeah. Notre Dame
doesn't give me the ring of confidence when you say it doesn't matter if we lose by 100.
No, it does not. South Carolina at A&M. Oof, this is a big line. 18.5 favorites for the Aggies. Over under set at 48.5. Jay, I'm staying away. That line is too big. I don't know anything about the over under. I am staying away.
Yeah, this is a very strange line for me. Elko highlighted it in his presser this week that this South Carolina team beat A&M by, however many points they did last year. A big symptom or a big cause of that was Texas A&M's inability to get Lenore Sellers on the ground. Mm-hmm. Yes, this offense has been disappointing for South Carolina this year, but Lenore Sellers is still a very strong runner, still very difficult to tackle, still capable of making big plays with his arm. He still has Nick Harbor at wide receiver, who, while he is inconsistent, has incredible athletic measurables and can hurt you in a lot of ways. You also have South Carolina, who recently fired their new offensive coordinator, has a new offensive coordinator calling the plays. They're coming off a bye week, so they're going to have some different wrinkles thrown in that's tough to prepare for. And A&M's game against another dual threat quarterback this year, Taylon Green, Arkansas was able to get a lot of offensive momentum going. Now, granted, I think Arkansas is better as an offensive unit than South Carolina is. I think South Carolina has a lot of problems in the trenches that are going to limit how good this offense can be, even with the coordinator change. But 18.5 feels like a wild point. Going into this one. Now, I do think Texas A&M wins this game. I think it's going to be a challenging contest. I think they'll fare better against Lenore Sellers than they did last year. Just a little more film on him, a little more, work on how to stop this type of guy. You also don't have Rocket Sanders with him in the backfield, which I think helps a little bit. But yeah, this is if I was an unbiased betting person, this is a game that I would stay away from. With that being said, again, I think A&M comes out on top, headed back home to Kyle Field for the first time since early October. Massive win to keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, like I said, I'm staying away from this one. Next up, South Florida at Navy. Navy is a 10.5 point dog. Over under set at 64.5. Jay, give me the under 64.5. I think this game is going to go by quick. South Florida has Byron Brown, who's going to do a lot with his legs. So give me the under here.
I'm going to take the over, Jake.
Oh, okay.
I think just like what Navy has done this year, barring the game against Notre Dame, they're able to throw the ball more than you expect from the service academies. Horvath can actually sling it a little bit. And I think they'll be behind a lot in this game. Mm-hmm. Like I think South Florida is going to jump out early, which forces Navy to kind of change their approach. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a ton of points scored in this one. So I'm taking the over.
Okay. Yep. Next up for the Golden Boot, which is a giant trophy, by the way. Like
that trophy looks like it could kill someone pretty easily.
I think it's like 200 pounds. Like it is,
and it's like got the serrated edges. Yes, it's like where the Mississippi borders both. Yeah, it's
for those of you who don't know, so Arkansas at LSU, they play for the Golden Boot, which if you take Arkansas and LSU, the state outlines, it looks like a boot. I did a video on this a while ago. They basically took gold and created a giant, the giant outline of both Arkansas and LSU, painted it in gold. It's about 200 and some pounds. And yes, it can absolutely kill someone, like Dave said.
Styles make fights. This is a fun one.
Make fights. Over 55.5. I think at the over.
Yeah. Arkansas is one of the best offensive teams in the country, just hasn't been able to get a stop once this year. LSU, very good defensively, have those problems with the offensive line, which we highlighted from their game against Alabama. You wonder what LSU is going to do at quarterback. Again, I said not to read too much into Nussmeier getting benched, but maybe they do decide to roll with Van Buren and see what he can accomplish with a full game under his belt. Again, Nussmeier is also probably pretty banged up.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the over here too, Jake. LSU is stout defensively, but Taylor Green is just so hard to prepare for what he's able to do with his legs. This one should be a fun game. Obviously, really disappointing for Arkansas so far this season, but Bobby Petrino loves nothing more than to cause chaos, and I would not be surprised if he comes out here with some kind of game plan just to get under the skin of LSU.
Oh, absolutely. Next up, Oklahoma at Alabama. Alabama is a 7-point favorite. Over under set at 45.5. I'm going to go with the under 45.5.
I think I like the under in this one too. I'm really interested to see, because I think this is probably the best pass rush that Alabama has faced in a while. Just with what Oklahoma is able to do, Brent Venables is able to scheme things up. I think this is going to be a fascinating matchup, because if Oklahoma can pressure Ty Simpson, again, Alabama has struggled to run the ball at times this year. So this could be a really intriguing game and could tell us a little bit more about Alabama's ceiling moving forward. Because I do think Oklahoma is going to get to Ty Simpson. If Ty Simpson, isn't able to move around and, extend plays, it could be tough for him. So definitely have an eye on this one just to see how Alabama handles that Oklahoma defense. But I like the under in this one as well at 45.5.
Yeah. Next up, Iowa at USC. USC is a 6.5-point favorite. Over under set at 49.5. I'm going under again, Jay, under 49.5.
Yeah. This is, if Iowa had won against Oregon, I think they get momentum going, heading into USC. Or if USC is coming to play at Kinnick, I think Iowa has a good chance to knock them off. But I look at this game, Iowa, just kind of that adrenaline dump after losing such a close game, going on the road at USC. I think they're going to struggle with the Trojans. I like USC minus 6.5 and the under.
Yeah. I also worry about Iowa in space. Iowa on the outside, Iowa against those three running backs, against those receivers, that I feel like USC is going to connect with one or two big plays in this game. But I do think Iowa can keep it close. And here's the other thing. Iowa can push around at USC up front. This is another styles make fights type of deal.
Yeah.
Love it.
Definitely going to be interesting to see the Trench play. UVA at Duke. So Virginia looking to bounce back. Duke is a 6-point favorite, which seems like a big line. Duke obviously coming off that loss. 59.5 is the over-under. I like the under in this one. I think, Virginia just doesn't score a ton of points. I know the Duke defense has been disappointing, but it just feels like there's going to be some struggle to get some momentum going for Virginia against Duke. So I'm taking the under here.
Give me Duke minus 6. They bounce back from their UConn loss. They bounce back. All right. Penn State at Michigan State. Michigan State is a 7.5-point dog at home. Over under set at 49.5 for the coveted Land Grant Trophy, the most beautiful block of wood in the country. Jay, my bias is coming in here. I liked what I saw last week from Indiana. I really, really hope I don't get. I hope it wasn't false hope. And I truly believe this Penn State team is going to keep fighting for not just each other, but for their coach, interim coach Terry Smith, who is a lifelong Penn Stater. And here's the other thing: Michigan State coming off of a bye. I'm saying, I don't know if this is true, Jay, but you're having a rough year. You have a bye. I think guys are going to come back from that bye a little woozy, a little, oh, we're coming back to work. And I think Penn State is still fighting. Give me Penn State minus 7.5 on the road.
Yeah, I like Penn State in this one too, just because, like you said, Penn State showed fight last week against Indiana. It feels like Michigan State is kind of cratered. Like it feels like this program is just like snowballing downhill. Their identity just doesn't seem to be there. They're really just kind of trying to survive. And I'm not seeing the fight like Penn State had against Indiana. So I like Penn State to win the Land Grant Trophy. And I like them to cover 7.5 as well, get their first Big Ten win.
Yep. And lastly, probably the premier game. It is the premier game? Yeah. Texas goes to Georgia. Georgia is a 6.5 point favorite, over under set at 48.5. Does this seem too easy of a line? Georgia's 6.5.
I'm on Texas, Jake. And
let
me tell you why.
Yes. Tell me why, because I'm on Georgia, but please.
Now, I do worry about Texas on the road because I think they have struggled mightily on the road this year. You look at the games against Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Absolutely.
But it feels like, lately Arch Manning has really started to not live up to the expectations because those were unreasonable from the start, but to be a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. And the problem still is the Texas offensive line and being able to protect Arch. Here's the thing about Georgia. This Georgia squad in particular has not been great at rushing the passer. So as good as Georgia has been in the past and their ability to create pressure on guys and, would be a nightmare matchup for this Texas offensive line, that's not the Georgia team that we see this year. They're just not that frightening there up front. They still have a ton of weapons. I still think they're very capable of winning this game. But I look at Texas and, they're probably still going to give up pressure because the offensive line has struggled. But with Baxter back in the backfield, they have a little bit more semblance of a run game. They can at least try to present something. I think they cover. I don't think they win here, but I do think Texas covers. I just think that the challenges of going into Athens, playing between the hedges, will be a little bit too much for Texas to overcome. But with the playoff hope still in front of them, this Texas team's going to fight. Again, I worry about Georgia's ability to affect the passer and what that means for Arch Manning. Ultimately, though, I think Georgia pulls it out with Gunnar Stockton.
Okay. I am going to take Georgia. I'm still worried about Texas offense. And I think that Georgia pulls away from this one at the end. Close game. Georgia pulls away. They cover the spread.
Either way, going to be a fantastic weekend of football.
Absolutely.
Plenty of games to watch. Jake, always a joy talking with you. To all the listeners, we appreciate you tuning into the show. Make sure you do all the things that help us grow as a podcast. 5-star reviews, like, subscribe, share. Just tell a friend. Word of mouth still works. Make sure to download Battle Bets. Tell them that we sent you. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're closing in on the end of the season. Soak it up while you can. Watch that midweek action. Enjoy all of the games that we have this week.
From all of us at the Get Back Coach.